What's up, guys? Welcome back to GC Sports. I hope you've been enjoying all of your days. Today, we are here with the NFL Week 14 predictions. The season's almost over. I love football. It can't end. It went by too fast. 3 more weeks and then playoffs. Which those videos will be fun too. My playoff predictions. But let's just hop right in. Week 13 was awesome, and I hope Week 14 will be even better. But first up, on Thursday Night Football, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers facing the Minnesota Vikings in Minnesota. So last week I predicted the Minnesota Vikings to beat the Lions, and that was an easy prediction. Too easy. The Lions won! The Lions got their first win of the year! Final play of the game. Touchdown to win the game. Lions win a game. Lions won a game. Lions won a game. Lions won a game. I didn't want them to win that game, though. Any game they can win. I just didn't want them to win that game. They won that game. And then the Steelers. What did the Steelers do last week? Oh, yeah. I predicted the Ravens to beat the Steelers. And the Steelers beat the Ravens because the Ravens went for 2 on the final play to win the game. Win, not tie. They needed an extra point to tie. And they went for a 2-point conversion. And Lamar Jackson throws it to Mark Andrews, and Mark Andrews drops it. So therefore, the Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Baltimore Ravens in Pittsburgh. And this week, on Thursday Night Football, it's Pittsburgh versus Minnesota, which with the loss that Minnesota had last week, this is in Minnesota, but I have the Pittsburgh Steelers beating the Minnesota Vikings. Moving to Sunday, first up, the Baltimore Ravens facing the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland. The Cleveland Browns are off their bye week, and the Ravens, they lost to the Steelers. I have the Baltimore Ravens beating the Browns, even though the Browns are off their bye week and it's in Cleveland. But I still got Baltimore winning and sweeping the Browns this season. The Browns are not good this season. After last season, everyone thought they're going to do great. They almost beat the Chiefs in the playoffs to go to the Super Bowl or the AFC Conference Championship. And they lost because of a fumble. And so after that, everyone thought they're going to do great, and they're finally good. And right now, if they lose today, which I think they are, they're 6-7. But I got Baltimore beating Cleveland in Cleveland. Next up, we got the Kansas City Chiefs facing the Las Vegas Raiders. So the Chiefs beat the Broncos just like I predicted. And Daniel Sorensen with a pick 6. Whew. I wish one of my teams could have Daniel Sorensen. I really like Daniel Sorensen. And in Madden, he's only like a 67, 65 overall. They got to bump that up. He's way better than that. But the Chiefs dominated the Broncos, which I was watching that game, and in the beginning of the game, I thought it was going to be a really close game due to the score line. But then after that pick 6, the Chiefs just dominated. So the final score was like 21-6. The Chiefs dominated the Broncos. And they're facing the Raiders this week, who lost to the Washington football team, which I did not predict. The Raiders could have won this game. They allowed a brand new kicker to make a super long field goal after the Raiders got a field goal to lead. And then, so when the Washington football team got it back, Taylor Heinicke throws it. Our defensive corner or linebacker gets it and drops it. We could have won the game. We could have beat the Washington football team, even though they're on a roll. Well, I got the Chiefs beating the Raiders in Kansas City, and the Kansas City Chiefs sweeping the Las Vegas Raiders. If you saw the game in the past weeks, Kansas City Chiefs dominated the Raiders in Vegas. Now this is in Kansas City. I think, once again, just like last time, Tyreek Hill's going to kill us. Kansas City beating the Las Vegas Raiders. Now the next one. The Jacksonville Jaguars facing the Tennessee Titans. So I thought long and hard on this one. The Tennessee Titans are off their bye week, and the Jaguars lost to the Rams, just like I predicted. So, I thought, I was like, Tennessee Titans, easy win. But then I looked back on the schedule, and the last time they played this year, Tennessee won. The Tennessee Titans won. And what was the score to that game? It was a final score of, what was the score?
Playing from laptop Q606S20.
I can't find the score. Oh, here. Titans 37, Jaguars 19. So that was a pretty easy win for the Titans. So I'm like, okay, I got the Titans winning. Until I saw that they already played and the Titans won. And the Jaguars are good at beating teams that they already lost to. And they can surprise in some weeks, like the time they beat the Bills. So final decision, I got the Jacksonville Jaguars beating the Tennessee Titans in Tennessee. That was another thing that changed me, saying that Tennessee would win. But then, once again, just the thing that happened before. I got the Jacksonville Jaguars beating the Tennessee Titans in Tennessee. Now, the New Orleans Saints facing the New York Jets. So, the Saints, they lost to the Cowboys, just like I predicted, on Thursday Night Football. That was, Taysom Hill was the starting quarterback, and he did not do well. And then I believe he went out due to an injury. He did not do well, and he's starting in this game. But they're facing the Jets. And the Jets last week, they lost to the Eagles, just like I predicted. The Eagles, Gardner Minshew was the starting quarterback. Man, was he good. They should start Gardner Minshew. He did so well last week against the Jets. Super well. Gardner Minshew. Stats last week. So, I might not be able to find the stats, but he did super well last week. Here we go. Against the New York Jets. Final score 33-18. Eagles win. He went 20 of 25 for 242 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. QB rating of 78.2. That's really good. That is really good. And Gardner Minshew, just watching that game, I was really surprised. I thought when they announced Gardner Minshew would be starting, I was like, oh no. Eagles are going to lose badly. Real badly. To the Jets. Even worse. Gardner Minshew should be their starting quarterback after that performance. And I believe that this week, Gardner Minshew should not be starting. He should start, but they're not starting him. They're starting Jalen Hurts. And Now, teams are interested in trading for him next season after that performance. Start Gardner Minshew. Get that trade up. And then if he's doing really good, just trade Hurts instead. With that performance, I answered a survey online. Gardner Minshew is better than Jalen Hurts and should be the starting quarterback. He didn't do well with Jacksonville, but I think he's doing very well with the Eagles now. He should be the starting quarterback. Back to this, the Saints are facing the Jets. Taysom Hill is starting for New Orleans, and the Jets, it's going to be Zach Wilson. I really don't like Taysom Hill, but Zach Wilson is horrible, a bust, or it's just the Jets are a bust. Comment down below, who's a bust, the Jets or the Zach Wilson, or both. But I think they're both busts. Maybe if Zach Wilson went to a better team, like maybe the Bucks, he would do better, but that's never going to happen. But Taysom Hill is better than Zach Wilson, even though they're both horrible. So I got the New Orleans Saints beating the New York Jets in New York. Let's look up NFL scores, and then I can tell you guys the scores now. Week 13. Here we go. Just made my YouTube channel 100% better. Next up, the Seattle Seahawks facing the Houston Texans. So the Texans lost to the Colts, just like I predicted, with a final score of 31-0. The Colts bet those Texans, and those Texans got murdered. And by the way, the only team out of the playoffs right now are the Texans. The Lions are still have a chance, which I'll go over those after my predictions. But the Colts beat the Texans 31-0. And the Seattle Seahawks, I predicted them beating the 49ers, and everyone was saying I was super dumb for that. Well, guess what? The Seahawks beat the 49ers with a final score of 30-23. Just like I predicted. I got it right, you were wrong. I got it right, and you were wrong. Now, don't say I'm dumb about these things, because I am right. I am right. You're dumb. You're not dumb. You're very smart for subscribing to GC Sports. But if you didn't subscribe to GC Sports yet, you should. Comment down below if you're subscribed. But the Seattle Seahawks beat the 49ers just like I predicted. And now they're facing the Houston Texans, who are already eliminated from the playoffs, can't get in. I got the Seattle Seahawks winning this one against the Texans in Houston. This would be their second win in a row. That doesn't say much with how bad the Seahawks are doing this year. And it's just because they're in a super hard division with the Cardinals, the Rams, the 49ers, and the Seahawks. But moving on. I got Seattle Seahawks beating the Texans. The Denver Broncos facing the Detroit Lions in Denver. The Broncos lost to the Chiefs just like I predicted. I got the score right here, which was the Chiefs beat the Broncos with a final score of 22-9. 22-9. And the Lions, surprisingly, I predicted them to lose to the Vikings. I'm pretty sure everyone did. Some people didn't, actually. And they beat the Vikings. I'm still really surprised. It was on the final play of the game. Final score of 29-27. So with this, the Broncos lost, the Lions won. The Broncos lost, the Lions won. The Broncos lost, the Lions won. People be like, Detroit's not going to win another game. They're lucky they won that game. Yes, they're very lucky they won that game, but Broncos are horrible. I got the Detroit Lions beating the Denver Broncos in Denver for Detroit's second win of the season and second win in a row. Jared Goff's going to pop off. Pop off. Jared Goff, Detroit Lions are going to get a win over the Denver Broncos. Next up, the LA Chargers facing the New York Giants. So the Chargers, I predicted them to lose to the Bengals. They killed the Bengals with the final score of 41-22. So the Chargers were winning 22-0. The Bengals came back, tied at 22-22, and then took the lead. And then Chargers just blew them out for the rest of the game with the final score 41-22. So I was wrong there. The Chargers beat the Bengals. And then the Giants, they lost to the Dolphins just like I predicted with a final score of 20-9. Giants aren't good. But so with that being said, the Giants not being good, I got the LA Chargers beating the New York Giants in LA with an easy game for the LA Chargers. Next up, the San Francisco 49ers facing the Cincinnati Bengals. So the Bengals lost to the Chargers, just like I said. I didn't predict that, though. And the 49ers lost to the Seahawks, just like I said. And I did predict that. So the Cincinnati Bengals are favored to win. Well, I got San Francisco 49ers beating the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati. Just moving on. Tampa Bay Buccaneers facing the Buffalo Bills. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers last week, they beat the Falcons, just like I predicted. That was an easy win for the Buccaneers. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat the Falcons, just like I predicted, with a final score of 30-17, and this was in Atlanta. Easy win. They swept the Falcons this season. And they're facing the Buffalo Bills this week, who last week they played against the New England Patriots, and I predicted the Buffalo Bills to beat the Patriots and end their winning streak. I had the Patriots losing 2 in a row. The Titans and the Buffalo Bills. They beat the Titans last week. Last week. And then this last week, they played the Buffalo Bills on Monday Night Football. And I thought the Buffalo Bills were going to beat the Patriots. That's what I predicted. With a final score on Monday Night Football of 14-10 in Buffalo, the New England Patriots beat the Buffalo Bills. The Patriots beat the Bills. They're number 1 in the AFC. They're number 1 in the AFC East. They get the bye week in the playoffs, if the playoffs start today, and we're going to win the rest of the season, so let's go Patriots, and we're going to get the bye week. Let's go Super Bowl, hopefully. Mac Jones, man. Best QB in this draft. 100% the best QB in this draft. Patriots, 7th win in a row. They started off 2-4. They're 9-4. They started off 2-4. They are now 9-4. They have won 7 in a row. So I was wrong there. I thought the Bills were going to beat the Patriots when the Patriots actually beat the Bills on Monday Night Football in Buffalo. What an embarrassment for Buffalo. Man, was our defense good. And Mac Jones only threw it 3 times. He went 2 of 3 for 19 yards. But the reason why is because the Buffalo Bills' run defense sucked 100%. How many rushing yards did the Patriots have versus Bills? New England runs all over its AFC East rival in Week 13. So, Mac Jones, 2 of 3 for 19 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, a 66.7 completion percentage, and 84 QB rating. And rushing, Ramondre Stevenson had 24 carries for 78 yards. Damian Harris, 10 carries for 111 yards and 1 touchdown, which Damian Harris got injured in the game, so we got to be looking out for him. Brandon Bolden, 4 carries for 28 yards. Mac Jones, 3 carries for 5 yards. It was a lot more than 5 yards. The only reason why it's 5 yards was because the QB kneels. They count that as rushing, and they lose yards. So he had 3 carries for 5 yards. It should have been way more. Nelson Aguilar, he had 1 carry for 6 yards. Kendrick Bourne had 1 carry for 3 yards. And Jonnu Smith had 1 carry for -1 yards. So we don't talk about Jonnu Smith in that. But man, we ran it through their throats. Let me see if I can do this math in my head. We got 111 plus 78 is 189. Plus 5 is 194. Plus 6 is 200. Then 203, 202. Plus 28 is 230. So about 230 yards rushing against the Buffalo Bills, who they say have the best defense in the league. Well, after that game, the Patriots have the best defense in the league. They should. Matthew Judon was the best free agency pickup ever. And we got him for 4 more years. And then incoming. We're going to re-sign him, definitely. But we kicked the Buffalo Bills' butts. And because of that, I got the Bills losing 2 in a row. Losing to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa. Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat the Buffalo Bills. Next up, the Dallas Cowboys facing the Washington Football Team. The Washington Football Team are on a streak. How many did they win in a row? How many games did Washington Football Team win in a row? No, I'm going to make this easier for myself. Washington. So first they lost to they lost to the Chargers, beat the Giants, lost to the Bills, beat the Falcons, lost to the Saints, lost to the Chiefs, lost to the Packers, lost to the Broncos, bye week. Beat the Buccaneers. Beat the Panthers. Beat the Seahawks. Beat the Raiders. They're on a 4-game winning streak. And which they beat the Raiders last week. I already talked about it, but the final score, 17-15, Washington Football Team. And Raiders are not going to make the playoffs. But the Washington Football Team are on a roll, and they're facing the Dallas Cowboys this week in Washington. The Dallas Cowboys, last week, they beat the Saints with 27-17 on Thursday Night Football. So, the Dallas Cowboys head coach said in the beginning of the season, before the season started, that game right there against the Washington Football Team is an easy win. He said that. Usually, that's a curse. When you say that, you lose the game. Well, I believe that curse is going to end today because I got the Dallas Cowboys beating the Washington Football Team in Washington. But I believe the Washington Football Team has a huge chance to win this game. And if they beat the Cowboys, they have a huge chance of making the playoffs because they play them twice. And Washington is right now in second in the NFC East while Dallas is in first in the NFC East. But I still have Dallas beating Washington in Washington. But I wouldn't be surprised if Washington won. I'm rooting for Washington, though, in that game. And the Atlanta Falcons facing the Carolina Panthers. So the Falcons, they lost to the Buccaneers last week. The final score 30-17, just like I predicted. And the Panthers had a bye week. So the Panthers already beat the Falcons once this year. And So I was going to go Falcons. So Falcons beating the Panthers. But then I saw the Panthers are off their bye week. So the Panthers beating the Falcons. But then I thought how Cam Newton doesn't do very well with these types of games. And plus, Carolina already beat the Falcons once. So I'm going with the Falcons beating the Panthers in Carolina. But I wouldn't be surprised if Carolina won since they're off their bye week. And you always have an advantage if you're off your bye week. That matters. Next up, the Green Bay Packers facing the Chicago Bears. So the Packers are off their bye week. And the Bears, last week, they lost to the Cardinals, just like I predicted, with the final score of 33-22. So if you recall, the last time the Packers played the Bears this season, the Packers won. And Aaron Rodgers went, I own you. Well, this game's in Green Bay now. The last one was in Chicago. Will Aaron Rodgers own Chicago anymore? Yes. I got the Green Bay Packers beating the Chicago Bears in Green Bay. And finally, Monday Night Football. We got the LA Rams facing the Arizona Cardinals in Arizona. So, Cardinals beat the Bears, just like I predicted, and the Rams beat the Jaguars, just like I predicted. The Rams won with the final score of 37-7, and the Cardinals they beat the Bears with the final score 33-22. This is going to be a really good game. And it's in Arizona on Monday Night Football. So LA finally got back on track. They won a game against the Jaguars. So their three-game winning streak is done. And now they're facing Arizona in Arizona. They already played once this year. And it was in LA. And the Cardinals beat the Rams. So I got the Rams losing to the Cardinals in Arizona. And the Arizona Cardinals sweeping the LA Rams. And this is on Monday Night Football. But that would be all the games for this week. Teams on a bye week this week are the Colts, so they can't win a game. The Dolphins, so they can't win a game. The Eagles, so they can't lose a game. And the Patriots, so they can't win a game. Win a game. I almost said lose. Win a game. They're just resting up, and they're going to be even better next week when they face the Indianapolis Colts. Which, sneak peek, I have the Patriots beating the Colts next week. And that's all the games. So let's go over the standings. Starting with the AFC North. In first, we have the Baltimore Ravens at 9-4. Second, the Pittsburgh Steelers at 7-5-1. Third, the Cincinnati Bengals at 7-6. And fourth, the Cleveland Browns at 6-7. AFC South, first we have the Tennessee Titans at 8-5. Second, the Indianapolis Colts at 7-6. Third, the Jacksonville Jaguars at 3-10. And fourth, the Houston Texans at 2-11. Then the AFC East, first we have the New England Patriots at 9-4. Second, the Buffalo Bills at 7-6. Third, the Miami Dolphins at 6-7. And fourth, the New York Jets at 3-10. The AFC West, first, the Kansas City Chiefs at 9-4. Second, the LA Chargers at 8-5. Third, the Las Vegas Raiders at 6-7. And fourth, the Denver Broncos at 6-7. Moving on to the NFC. In the NFC North, first we have the Green Bay Packers at 10-3. Second, the Minnesota Vikings at 5-8. Third, the Chicago Bears at 4-9. And fourth, the Detroit Lions at 10-1. Then the NFC South. First, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 10-3. Second, the Atlanta Falcons at 6-7. Third, the New Orleans Saints at 6-7. And fourth, the Carolina Panthers at 5-8. In the NFC East, First, we have the Dallas Cowboys at 9-4. Then in second, the Washington Football Team at 6-7. Third, the Eagles at 6-7, and fourth, the Giants at 4-9. And then lastly, the NFC West. First, we have the Arizona Cardinals at 11-2. Second, we have the LA Rams at 8-5. Third, the 49ers San Francisco at 7-6, and fourth, the Seattle Seahawks at 5-8. Which, if the playoffs were to start today, I'm going to go in order from 7th to 1st of teams that would be in, starting with the NFC. Do a little switch around. At the 7th seed, we would have the Washington Football Team at 6-7. The 6th seed, the San Francisco 49ers at 7-6. The 5th seed, LA Rams at 8-5. The 4th seed, Dallas Cowboys at 9-4. The 3 seed, Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 10-3. The 2 seed, the Green Bay Packers at 10-3. And the 1 seed, who have the bye week and home field advantage in the playoffs, the Arizona Cardinals at 11-2. So the Washington Football Team would be in the playoffs at 6-7. The Washington Football Team would be in the playoffs at 6-7. Let's just move on to the AFC. In the 7th seed, we would have the Indianapolis Colts at 7-6. In the 6th seed, the Pittsburgh Steelers at 7-5-1. In the 5th seed, we would have the LA Chargers at 8-5. The 4th seed, the Tennessee Titans at 8-5. The 3 seed, the Kansas City Chiefs at 9-4. 2 seed, the Ravens at 9-4. And the 1 seed also have the bye week and home field advantage throughout the playoffs. The 1 seed in the AFC, the New England Patriots at 9-4. We are back, baby. We did bad last year on purpose so that we could have a high pick of the draft and draft the best QB in the draft, Mac Jones. Sheesh! But now let's talk about the NFL playoff scenarios, and then that's going to be done for the video. The Texans are already out of the playoffs. And teams that can be eliminated this week are the Lions, Jets, and Jaguars. Which, I'm not going to go through all of them. I'll just give you the simple one. But the Detroit is eliminated if they lose. Or if San Francisco wins, or... Okay. Detroit can be eliminated this week if they lose. The Jets can be eliminated this week if they lose. The Jacksonville Jaguars can be eliminated this week if they lose. There's a ton of other ways too, but I'm not going to say all of them because there's 26 ways, like 30-ish ways, 32. And then a team that can clinch this week is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And teams that can clinch a playoff berth that automatically go in, the Cardinals, Buccaneers, and Packers. I'll say the Cardinals one. If they win, they're in. But that's all I'm doing for NFL playoff scenarios for this week. And also, that is a wrap to this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. This was the NFL Week 14 predictions. I'll do the NFL Week 15 next week. I love that you guys are liking this series. And it's going to continue for the rest of the season, including playoffs. And then it'll continue next season, too. But, with that being said, this was Grant, GC Sports. And thank you for being here today and watching my video. Subscribe, turn on post notifications, like the video, and comment down below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. NFL rules.